Hey everybody, Facebook. I think I put this on YouTube too. Welcome to Liberty Live. It's Tiffany and Tina Deskovich, co-founders of Moms for Liberty, and it's Friday. And I know we're doing a pretty good job keeping up the Friday Liberty Lives, Tina. I feel good. This is like how many weeks in a row now?
Three or
So we're
four, but I had to do one by myself. I think you were on a plane or something all day, and I had to do it by myself. Wasn't quite as exciting without you, but we managed. We kept our commitments.
Yes, we did. Well, good. I'm glad that you did it. I'm sure it was wonderful. So, we were going to talk a little bit about some of the issues that have been happening this week across the country, and we wanted to start talking about the shooting at the Covenant School. And just wanted to say that I know lots of people have lots of different opinions about what should happen at their own children's school or in their own community, but the best advice that we have, and the thing that we think should be happening the most, is a lot of conversations prioritizing school safety in your community, and that's going to take everybody getting involved and having their voice heard in a hopefully a calm manner. Tina, I know you and I both went through really rigorous safety protocol changes in Florida in the school districts where we served on school board after the shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School. So I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about what that experience was like for you, or you had some thoughts to share.
Yeah, sure. This is something you and I could spend a full hour, 5 hours on. Honestly, school safety is near and dear to our hearts. Like Tiffany just said, we both served different school boards, didn't even know each other after the Parkland shooting in 2018 on school boards. And Florida took it very seriously and took some very swift action with legislation statewide. One of the things that was in that legislation was the implementation and the requirement for every public school, regular public school and charter school in the state of Florida, to have a school safety officer. And it gave some flexibility to what that was like, but it mandated basically that an option of, I don't know how many things, Tiffany, four or five options within the statute of how you could comply with that state law. And the school safety officer could be an armed guard, it could be an SRO, it could be a school guardian, which we can talk about a little bit. It could look different ways because there are a lot of things that you have to look at as a school district when you move into a place that you want to bring in that level of security in your school. And for us, it was the anniversary of some of the discussions I had seen yesterday in my, did I send that to you? No, I sent you, I know what I sent you yesterday, but in my Facebook memories yesterday was some Facebook Lives I had done during this period of time. I think I did a local radio interview. And so I listened to it and I was just like going back through that process of what we went through. And one of the things was that we have almost 100 schools here in my county, and there wasn't enough SROs to hire. Like the state was willing to give us funds to help us to hire some of it, and there just wasn't enough people that could serve as SROs. And so in our county, it put us in a little bit of a predicament of what we wanted to do and then what our options were and what we were able to do here.
Yeah, it was a little different in the county that I live in. We did have and the sheriff just immediately said, it was a smaller county, less schools than in Brevard County. I served in Indian River, and the sheriff stepped up right away and said, listen, we want to put an SRO at every school. We had SROs in our high schools, and I think middle school, but we did not have them in the elementary schools. And then I was really proud of the sheriff. He went to all the private schools in the area and the charters who they have their own boards and they make decisions, safety decisions in line with statute for the charter schools, but the private schools have more flexibility, obviously. And he offered that to them as well. And it was a 50-50 cost share, which we were so incredibly thankful for, because it is really expensive to have, you think about the police officer, the salary, everything that comes with it, the car. It is an expensive investment. But it was great that the county and the school district were able to partner on the cost because it was a priority to everyone. And so we had a lot of school board meetings, but everyone in our community that came out was comfortable with the sheriff putting an SRO at all the schools. I think they were happy about it, to be honest, when I look back on it. and overall. And so that was a good and a good decision to make. But Tina, let's post some of the. I posted on Twitter, but let's make sure that we post the safe school. They're actually called safe school officers in the Florida statute. And if you're watching right now and you want to go look, go to the floor. Just type in Florida Department of Education safety, school safety, and that'll bring you to a landing page where you're going to be able to see all of the different things that were implemented. There was a director of safe schools that was put in charge at the FLDOE to kind of go to all of the schools and to look, because it wasn't just about school resource officers, was it, Tina? It was about hardening the perimeter of the school, right? And making sure that all of there were gates, and then there were ways for kids to be able to leave. I know that was an issue that you dealt with when you were on school board.
Yeah, there was a lot in those statutes, or in the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas bill that was passed. It was the hardening of schools, absolutely single point of entry, getting all of our schools in Florida to that level. There was mental health supports, and there was the red flag laws, which a lot of people weren't happy about, and there was a lot of debate in that area. But there was a lot in that bill, and then funding to help with school safety officers. There was also funding for training for the Guardian program, which we can touch on lightly here. I know your school district had no interest in that whatsoever. Our school district here was very interested in it in the beginning. We implemented it kind of in a hybrid way. And I see some comments and questions over there. We have to remember, Tiffany, sometimes, we've dabbled in the bureaucratic world of educrats for a while. So sometimes we use those acronyms. People are like, what's an SRO? We have to be careful and explain what we're talking about sometimes. And so an SRO is a school resource officer. That is an actual certified law enforcement officer that has the ability not only to carry a weapon, but they have the authority to arrest and do a lot of other things that law enforcement officers have. When you do a school guardian, which Florida put in place, that can look very different, but they lack that authority. So the sole purpose of a school guardian in Florida is to carry a firearm and to stop the threat that is approaching the school, and so, or in the school, but they have no authority to do anything else. And so some people really appreciated that because they didn't want more of a police presence in school, in the sense of they were concerned about minority children being arrested at a higher level if you had a police presence. Some people didn't even want that level of security in the school. We had here in Brevard, where I am, hundreds, up to 1,000 at times at our school board meetings, protesters that did not want any weapon protecting students in our schools. And so this is a conversation for communities to have. It should be front and center. There's nothing worse to me than when a tragedy happens in a school district and you hear that they really had nothing in place, nothing. Fortunately, this instance this week, you saw they had many levels of security in place, but we saw, like in Uvalde and other places, where there were levels of security that you could tell it hadn't even been discussed. There were things, the school wasn't hardened. There was no single point of entry that didn't even have a hard perimeter, let alone, a school resource officer on campus. So
yeah.
Go ahead.
No, you're absolutely right. No, I was just going to say, I see there's someone, M for L doesn't like free speech. This is funny. Hi, M for L doesn't like free speech. Surely you're not suggesting SROs are the solution to mass gun violence. No, we're not. We're looking at every available option to keep kids safe at school right now. And so I think you're absolutely right. There are bigger issues at play as far as mass gun violence. And I think what we're seeing increasingly is that mental illness is certainly the biggest factor. And someone said, I was watching the news when this shooting was being reported, this horrible, my goodness. And I'm watching, crying. And, and I heard one of the reporters say, I don't know if it was CNN or MSNBC, something like, we've yet to know if this person has mental illness. And I'm like, they just went into a school and shot 6 people. Yes. They have a problem that no sane person does that. So as far as my friend who thinks I don't like free speech, I like free speech. We want more conversation in communities so we can have better solutions for everyone. Moving on from there, Tina, we will be praying for their families, and we will be thinking about that brave principal who obviously tried to stop that shooter, that brave little girl who tried to pull the fire alarm, and the community that is so horribly hurt by this action of 6 victims and 1 shooter. So, Tina, I know we wanted to touch on some other things that are happening across the country, and I think it's important we kind of report out some of the progress that our chapters are making. Do you have anywhere specifically you'd like to start?
Sure. Yeah, I think I'd seen some things this morning. I was chatting with our chapter chair in Volusia County, Jennifer Kelly, and they had a pretty rough school board meeting this week, and where they were attacked viciously as usual, called all kinds of names. Really put down. It weighs on them. They're just moms, human beings too. They don't want to be called names for standing up and speaking out on what they believe and standing up for their children. So it was a rough school board meeting and they felt kind of down, but they had two really big wins. They have been fighting since the pandemic to fight against a permanent mask policy. So here in Florida, in my district too, they actually passed, the mask policy was created and put into the book of policies at our district as a permanent policy that gave the superintendent authority whenever he wished to force masks on children. And it was put in their school district's policies in Volusia County, Florida. And last night they got it removed. It's not a permanent policy any longer. It will have to go back through the school board if this comes to fruition again and it's a community debate again and there are issues about it. It's going to have to be debated in the sunshine, out in the open at a school board meeting before it can ever, see the light of day in Volusia County again. And that's a really big win for them. They've been working on that for 2 solid years. Another win that they had the same night is they got the book review committee. We're under a lot of attacks saying that we want to ban books and burn books, and we've seen the memes and all the things. We're just looking for some involvement and some voice on some of these issues. And they had a huge win in Volusia. They got the book committee. So, for example, in Brevard County, where I am again, the book review committee, when there's a complaint from a parent, and it's been this way for years, mostly is school staff. It's a teacher, it's the librarian, it's the administrator, it's all of these people. And there's usually 1 or 2 parents on like a 15-person committee. And so in Volusia County, Florida now, a majority of the committee will be parents. And a lot of times they pull them from current parents that are PTA or PTO president and the SAC committee. Moms for Liberty is not looking to dominate these committees. They want a voice, and they want all kinds of parents to have a voice on the committee so that it's not just bureaucrats. It's not just, elected officials. It is actual parents on the ground that have skin in the game and have kids they're on the committee. So it's 2 big wins just out of Volusia County this week alone. Tiffany?
That's awesome. Sorry, I'm trying. Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're frozen, but we can hear you.
Oh, okay. Let's hope maybe it'll fix itself in a second. Let's hope. All right. So anyway, so we're around 12 minutes. Anything to talk about, Tina? I want to talk about the summit a little bit while I hopefully unfreeze. So can we talk about Philadelphia and the summit?
Of course we can. We're going to start unrolling our speakers very, very soon in the next couple of weeks. So we are working to finalize their contracts and such. We are excited. Most of you already know, June 29th through July 2nd, we will be in Philadelphia. We're going to be rocking the cradle of liberty. We're going there because we are not ceding any ground in this fight. We know that there are a lot of people in Philadelphia that don't care for us. And we have a lot of people that are putting pressure for us not to be there. We've seen what is it? Not GoFundMe. What is the change.org? I don't know. The petitions out there asking us not to come. And what is it?
I don't know. I don't pay attention to any of that.
Yeah. Well, people have sent us that and they're like, we're doing this petition to make sure you don't come. And we're like, oh yeah, now we're going to cancel everything now because you don't want us to come. So our people are excited. Pennsylvania is our 2nd largest state for members and chapters in the country. So we are going there. We are very excited about it. And we're going to be unrolling our agenda there at the event and our speakers very soon.
Awesome. Can you see me and hear me now? Okay.
Yeah, I think you have to stay still because it looks like you're on your phone. And so when you move the phone, it has to rebuff every time. So try to hold it still and then it won't freeze on you.
I'm going to try to hold it still and finish up right here. I know. So listen, it's been a week. I mean, what a week that we have right now. And I think the most important thing that I'm trying to remember with all the news about, President Trump being indicted and, you think about all the different implications of what that means for our country. And I know there are a lot of differing opinions about that too. But the bottom line is that, the way that America continues and is saved is really in your own home and in your own community and getting involved. And I know all of you are doing that. I encourage everyone to do that. Even if you don't think I'm going to agree with you, you should still be involved and have your voice heard and try to have conversations. that's the goal here, because all of our kids are being raised together and they're all going to grow up and inherit this country as parents themselves. So any closing thoughts from you, Tina?
Yeah, I really like that you said that, because when we launched Moms for Liberty January 1st, 2021, I remember having the conversation with you all that a lot of us just felt hopeless. And you looked at DC and we just were like, it's such a mess. We're so disconnected from there. We don't know how to have impact there. It's just so far away from us and what's going on. And so, I mean, Moms for Liberty was created and formed to make a difference in your own community and start changing things on the local level. And so 100%, you circled back to our founding and our beginning. And I love that. I do want to say two more things that are coming up. If you're in Florida, the legislative days are going to be April 18th in Tallahassee. So you can go to our website and register there under events. And one of our New York chapters, I was talking to her when I was up there this past week for the training in Wayne County. They're putting together a pretty big Liberty event. She is going out on a limb and putting something, I think, pretty big together that she hasn't done anything like that before. Steve Dace is coming in from Iowa to be their keynote speaker. And so if you're in that I think upstate Wayne County area of New York, get on our website and go register for her event and join them in the work that they're doing.
Awesome. Well, happy Friday, everyone. We hope you get to spend some time with your families this weekend, and give your kids a big hug. I know I'm certainly gonna, every day I just give my kids a big hug and know why we're all doing this. So happy Friday.
Bye, Tiffany.
Bye, Tina. Have a great day.